Welcome to the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel. Today I'm joined by FPL Salah to preview double game week 24. Abdul, it's a big week. We need your tips, your advice. You've already made one transfer, so that's going to be very interesting to see if you've gone for a double game week player. I imagine you probably have, let's be honest. But yeah, how are you feeling about this week?
Yeah, good. I think I've set myself up well. Had four free transfers. So
Woof.
five free transfers going into this game week. Already had four double game week players. So yeah, confident.
You had 5 free transfers.
Going into this week, yeah,
Wow. And
yeah.
you've used one.
I've used one, yeah,
That's a very sort of, I mean, I expect this from you. You are a patient manager and you use your transfers wisely and efficiently.
hmm
Those are 2 words I can think of there. But yeah, I mean, that's still ridiculous. To have 5 going into a double is exactly where you want to be. I've got your team up
yeah.
on screen from last week, so I think it's necessary to
hmm
show who you already had in place. So first of all, yeah, it was a great week,
Yeah.
70 points, very solid. What moves did you end up making last week to get those doublers in place already, or were they already in place?
No, none. I already had them in place. So the
Right.
last time we made a transfer was, game week 20 actually was Larson out for Wood. So
Wow.
I've saved every week since then. I've had my two Liverpool players since, and the one Everton. And so obviously now I've got four double game week players and four free transfers.
Okay. That's impressive. Rolling, so you roll for like 3 game weeks in a row. It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I mean, like I was expecting at least a few red arrows or a few bad game weeks in that time, but only had really one green, and overall I've gone from game week 20, I've gone from 900k to 680k. I think if I made transfers, I probably would have, I guess, been a bit above that, but I think saving them for the double and beyond with like the blank game week 29, I think that should hopefully pay off.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's have a look at your team for this game week and talk about chip strategy and the move that you've already made.
Yeah.
So the move you've made is Flecken out and
Mhm.
Pickford in, which
Okay.
is a great move on paper. Now that move was made before Pickford's price rise, which is why you were
Yeah.
able to do it and why you had to do it early. So you actually have zero point 0.0 in the bank, not zero point
Yeah.
0.1. But because I've just done this now, it's saying zero point 0.1 on Fantasy Football Hub. But yeah, I mean, that makes your team look very strong. A team rating of 100% and a game week rating of
Oh, wow.
95%. It's very solid. I think it's because you're just well set up, really, is the main thing. It's good to see. 95% obviously could be slightly improved, and we'll talk about
Mhm.
potential double game week players in a second. But guys, as you can see at the top of the screen, you can get your own team rated for free by clicking the link in the description. So if you want to see if you can beat one of the greatest FPL managers ever's team rating currently, you can do it for free. Link down below. Put your own team in. Takes 2 seconds. And yeah, you can also then, if you want to do more, get your own recommended transfers from AI. See all the predicted points of all players, and also now the assistant managers, which is interesting. That's been added to the site. It's currently 30% off, and you get a 7-day free trial if you want to take advantage of everything that Fantasy Football Hub has to offer. But let's talk about your team then. So you have 4 double game weekers.
Yeah.
Pickford, Mikalenko's been there for a while, Trent
Yeah.
and Salah.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing with your team is that you don't have 3 Liverpool players yet. So
Yeah.
that leaves you open for any strategy. You could go for any other Liverpool player, of course, but also could go for
Yeah.
Slot as the assistant manager. So yeah, right now, what are you thinking with another Liverpool player and your chips?
Yeah, so last week I was close to doing Timber to Kanate. I could have also done Wood to Gakpo. I was less keen on that, but more keen on that now, of course. But I was really close to doing Timber to Kanate, but I just thought, I'll wait that one more week just in case I do change my mind on that third Liverpool player, and also, with the double game week 25 provisional announcement, there might be something on that before game week 24 deadline. I think that's getting the chances of that are getting slimmer and slimmer now. So I'm kind of in the similar spot to last week, right? So I've kind of whittled it down to two options now. So I'm either going to do Timber to Kanate as a plan last game week and João Pedro to Ndai, right? So that would give me 6 double game week players. And then like kind of going forward, I could just bench NDI up until game week 29. Everton have got West Ham at home then in the blank game week, so he'll come in handy then. Um, and I'm planning to get another Bournemouth midfielder in game week 25, so he can just sit on the bench, and he's not going to be played. So it's only to leave for this game week. My second option I'm looking at is Wood to Gakpo and Timber to Dean Hodgson from Bournemouth.
Yeah.
So, like, frustratingly, I've got only 4.8 million in the bank after I do Wood to Gakpo, so I can't get Kerkez. That would have been my kind of player of choice. But I think Hodgson at 4.4 is fine. He's got a goal threat. He scored a few goals already. And although that means 5 game week, double game week players instead of 6, I think this kind of move sets me a bit better up for the long term. So that's the two options I'm thinking of at the moment.
Okay, interesting. And if I sort of had to force your hand now, what would you go for, do you reckon, out of those two?
Funnily enough, like at the start of the week, I was probably around about 70% on the Kanati move, but now it's moved the other way. So
All
about
right.
70% on the Gakpo move. And it's annoying, obviously, I didn't get him in last week, but there was really good reasons for me to save and hold back because, okay, like if I went for the Kanati move last week, I didn't have this choice. Like I wouldn't have had this choice. But the reason why I've kind of flipped was because I've had a look at kind of future game weeks. And although the Kanati and Dai move, gets me more points this week and more double game week players, like just going forward, the Gakpo move's a bit more robust. Like I have Gakpo there for Wolves at home as well.
Yeah.
If I kept Wood, Wood's got a decent fixture this week, but then he's got Fulham away, which is difficult. Then Newcastle with an Arsenal and Man City as well. So then he would be a transfer I'd have to make. I think probably the next few game weeks. So just doing that move now lets me have Gakpo who I can just keep until game week 29. And I keep João Pedro, who's got a good game against Southampton in a few weeks. So just looking at my team specifically, and what players I'd play kind of in future weeks, I think the Gakpo and Hudson move works better for my team.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's interesting. I've already done a couple of moves myself. And I'm thinking maybe I made a mistake because I kept Wood and I sold João Pedro.
What moves did you make?
I sold João Pedro for Ndai.
Hmm.
Did I make another move or is that it? Actually, maybe that's all I've done so far. And then I'm thinking of doing Gordon to and Burma. In fact, by the time this video comes out, I may well have done that move.
Yeah, I mean that's they're good moves because the thing is you can move Wood to Cunha in a few weeks.
Yeah, this is
Um,
what I was thinking. I don't mind, like, if I have to make, it's not ideal making two transfers on forwards. And also, João Pedro does then become a decent option again
yeah,
with that Southampton game, as you said. But I've not loved owning him. I'm not sure I want to get rid of Wood just yet. I think, like, I know we look longer term than just one game week, but I think the Brighton at home fixture is good for
that
him.
is. I mean, it is a good fixture. However, the way I'm thinking is I may lose points on Wood this week, but I think over like the next 6, 7 game weeks, this move hopefully should kind of pay off. I mean,
Yeah,
the one thing, well, the one advantage of bringing in Kanati and Dai is I've got 4 free transfers, so I make those two moves, and I'm still gonna have 3 free transfers
yeah, it's
next, which
crazy. You're
is
still in such a good spot.
exactly. So it's a move which I guess I can afford to like be a bit more. I guess more I don't know I guess a bit more risky in this sense where we've not got the 2 transfer rule anymore. I've got 3 transfers next week, so I could make that. It's kind of like a 1 game week punt, isn't it, really? Going in DI, and then I can just bench him and then I can possibly like move him on, but then there's always that. We know in FPL things happen, injuries happen, and the landscape changes quite quickly, so this is a bit more safer. I think for me going the Gakpo and Hodgson route, it sets me up better for the long term. So that's where I'm leaning at the moment. But I think India is a great option this week. Calvert-Lewin's out for, I think, a good few weeks. It's a hamstring tear. He's going to be on penalties. I don't think he'll play as the number 9. I think Bettel's going to play there. But there's a chance. I mean, if Bettel gets subbed off, maybe India could play there for, I guess, a period of the match. He's going to be on penalties. He's going to get a lot of minutes. And look, he scores 1 goal against Leicester, and that's that move's paid off. and then the Liverpool game's a bonus.
Couldn't agree more. Let's talk about your recommended transfers. Now, I do want to sort of just caveat this a little bit by saying that because you've already made a move and it falls outside of your budget, technically, this doesn't work as I'd love it to, because the move's already been made and it's saying you're on minus 0.1 and I can't actually adjust it. However, what I've done anyway is just put your team without that transfer in to see. I mean, I know you already made the move, but it's to sort of give you an idea of, I suppose, of what you could have done instead.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. I mean, a couple of players that you've talked about are in. Probably not the ones you'd imagine, though. I mean, not both. So, first of all, before I say what your moves are, if you've never seen this screen before, guys, this is my favorite part of Fantasy Football Hub. It's the AI recommended transfers. What it does is it has a look at your team from a purely data AI statistical point of view, predicts the future points of every single player in the game, of course, and then gives you some recommended moves for your team for the current game week as to what you could possibly do in terms of your transfers to improve it. It's completely objective as well. There's no bias here as well, which is the main point. There's no human input into this at all. You can, if you want, click on custom transfers and select how many transfers you want to do, players individually from certain clubs, whatever, at certain price points. But I like just doing this and just seeing what it sort of spits out, and it gives you food for thought. So anyway, sorry to keep you waiting, Abdul.
All right.
Wood and Joao Pedro are gone.
Oh, okay.
As is Ismaila Sarr. Now, the Sarr move is to fund everything. Gakpo has come in for Wood, which obviously you need a bit of money for. Joao Pedro's gone for Ndai, who you just mentioned, similar price. And Dango Utara has come in for Sarr to sort of fund it. I suppose to go on your bench for this week and then come in for that brilliant run of Bournemouth fixtures. So it's actually recommending, and I know you've already made the Flecken to Pickford move, which is a great move on paper. And it may well have recommended that before the price changes. But yeah, Gakpo and Dango have come in, and it's saying to get rid of both Wood and Joao Pedro. What do you think?
They're not bad moves, to be honest, because again, that they're good moves for this week. 2 double game week players, and then Dango is a player which I'm considering bringing in next week anyway.
Yeah.
I'll probably bring in Kluivert or Dango in game week 25. So yeah, they're pretty fine moves. I think they're, again, sets you up kind of well for the long term. Again, that'll give me the 5-man midfield, just benching and die, for the game weeks ahead. So yeah, not bad. I'm quite impressed by those. I didn't even consider those 3 kind of moves, to be honest. Didn't even look at that. I had a look at a lot of kind of permutations and stuff, but yeah, as you said, it's food for thought.
I mean, I think for your team that doing Flecken to Pickford is just a no-brainer, really. I mean, I really like Pickford this week, and Flecken's been poor, and I think 29 as well. It's a much better game for Pickford anyway. Not that, I mean, it's just that the run-up for just over the next 5 game weeks, you'd expect Pickford to do so much better. So that, I think, is a pretty obvious move.
And I'll admit as well, like, taking Flecken out was, a bit of a emotional transfer because, oh God, he has been... it's twice he's been on like a monster haul.
Yeah,
lost a clean sheet in the. Well, actually, not even lost a clean sheet, but conceded 2 goals in the. Go one against Fulham, obviously, and then recently against Liverpool. So yes, it's not been fun owning him, mate.
I wasn't monitoring the Liverpool one as much, just because I was sort of watching with friends, and also I didn't have him. But I know for the Fulham one, he was on 12, then after conceding the first goal, went down to 8.
Yeah.
He was still on all the bonus points.
Yeah.
But then after conceding the second goal, he went down to 4. So actually, it was the second goal that was the real killer. I mean, losing 4 points is not what you want, but you're still 8 points from your keeper is great. The second down to 4 was just like that was a sort of a gut punch, a stomach punch. But what was it like for the Liverpool one after the first goal? Was he still on points, or was it?
No, actually, I think he dropped quite a bit.
Okay.
I think he just kind of dropped down to 3 or 4. But which again, it wasn't as painful as the Fulham one because, like, you think conceding the goal in the 9th minute, that's it. 8 points is great, and then, of course, he goes and concedes another one. So yeah, that still scarred me a bit, to be honest. But yeah, it was just annoying. I mean, like, yeah, what can I say? He's gone now, so that he's in the past, and I'm going to leave him there.
Gonna leave him there. Fair enough. Okay, let's get back to your team. We haven't even talked about chips, and we need to talk about this. So I presume you're going to be using a chip this week, but just run me through your decision making of your chips for this week. How close you've been to being nailed on any one in particular, and then also I want to open it up to talking about chip strategy, because I think we have, well, a lot of managers have all chips really to play, and they might be thinking, well, there's actually not that many game weeks left to play them.
Yeah, that's it. And look, I've got all my chips in terms of the bench boost, free hit, and triple captain. So for me, I think it's pretty obvious to play the triple captain this week, unless we get that provisional announcement about double game week in 25 for Fulham and Spurs. Then I could definitely play the assistant manager. Then I probably will play the assistant manager, to be
Yeah.
honest. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think the chances are really slim now, as I said earlier. So, I mean, for me, if the double game week 25 doesn't get announced, it's pretty much a no-brainer for Mo Salah, triple captain. The two games are like 11 days apart. He's going to play 180 minutes. Obviously, there's that chance where Liverpool have got the Carabao Cup game and FA Cup game. There's a small chance of injury, but how often does Salah get injured? Not very often at all. So yeah, for me, it's pretty obvious move. Triple captain this week, and then save the assistant manager and bench boost for the bigger double game weeks in 33 or 36. Obviously, we'll decide that after game week 29, once we get the fixtures for 33 and 36, once it's been confirmed. So I'm not obviously committing which game week I'm going to play them in yet, but I know I'll definitely play them in the two double game weeks in 33 and 36.
Okay, there we go. And is that like a very obvious triple captain this week? Is it like did you think about the assistant manager at all? What's interesting, as I said, is that you don't have 3 Liverpool as it stands, so you could get to slot.
No, I mean, even if I was to play this week, I don't think I'd play on slot. I'd probably chance it on Moyes. If he wins against Leicester and manages to pull off a draw against Liverpool, that's it paid off in that one game week.
Yeah.
And then I was, probably would have gone to Marco Silva, who plays Forest. You get the table bonus in that game as well. And in game week 26, you can play it on Leicester against Brentford for the table bonus, or you can just play a home banker game. Arsenal against West Ham. So I mean, there's a path there. But I think with a triple captain, Liverpool might get another double game week in the season, but I think right now, it's that kind of saying, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. We know Liverpool have got a double game week. We know Salah's going to play 180 minutes. Liverpool might not get another game week, and then we've only got the 2 chips left. And you need to, for me, I think I want to use the bench boost in double game week, and I think the assistant manager should definitely be played in a double game week too. So it kind of just makes it quite easy for me, to be honest.
What's your prediction for active managers? Let's say top couple of million. Then I'm always a bit wary of that. So no, I don't want to piss anyone off.
I know.
You know what I mean, though. Like,
I know what you mean.
I can't say someone that if someone's 9 mil and they're active, then fair enough. They're probably not watching this video. Don't want to offend anyone if you're not having a great season. Let's say active managers still. What do you think the effective ownership of Salah will be from active managers?
I think maybe 260 to 270.
Really? That's pretty high. I mean, the thing is, there aren't really that many other, you can't really captain anyone else, so I feel like everyone will just be on him.
You know what?
Anyway.
Let me change my answer. I think I'll say about 250 to 260, because I think a lot of people will just use their assistant manager this week.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there'll be that as well, because I think some people are thinking, I mean, I've seen this quite a bit. I think some people think you have to use it this week.
Really?
Yeah, obviously we don't, but if you get the casual managers who, the game week 24, the chip's been introduced, they might think they have to use it this week. And there's been a high percentage, and there are quite a few, I guess, engaged managers who are playing the assistant manager chip this week as well, and quite a lot of managers triple captained Haaland, like yourself in game week 2. So yeah, I say 250, 260, and if that is the case, I'd be kind of over the moon with that, because the gains would be quite big, obviously then.
Yeah, I guess in the same way that the upside is there, it means for people that have already used it, the potential downside isn't that crazy. If not as many people as you might have thought are triple captaining and you're captaining, Maybe I'm just sort of making myself feel better. No, in fact, that is exactly what I'm doing. Okay, a couple more questions about your team. Just like sort of selections. Colwill versus Gabriel, and more conversation on having double Arsenal defense. I know you mentioned it already,
Yeah.
but do you feel comfortable like continuing with Arsenal defense? And what are you thinking for that City game in general?
Yeah. So I won't have double Arsenal defense after this week.
Yeah.
But I still think Arsenal defense is fine. I mean, if you look at their fixtures, they've got after the City game, they've got Leicester away, West Ham home, Forest away is tough, and then Man United away. So it's not, great, but it's not bad either. But I think now is a good time to jump off. This week, though, I'll probably bench Gabriel for Colwill. So my bench this week is going to be Gabriel, Sarr, and Hodgson. I think I had a look at the clean sheet odds. Chelsea at about 36%, Arsenal 31%. So yeah, I think City, I guess you could say are coming in a bit of form. They've made a few signings. They've got Marmoush who looks really good. And they just obviously qualified for the Champions League as well. So yeah, I think I'll kind of risk it with Colwill. I'm not obviously confident in the clean sheet with Chelsea either, but I'll just go with the clean sheet odds in this one.
Would it worry you if I say that Gabriel is predicted to score more points by Colwill and it's not even close? 1.2
Right, wow.
more. Colwill at
That's
3.9, Gabriel at 5.1. It's a big difference for predicted points for a predictive model. That is a big difference.
Yeah, that is. Is it predicting Colwill's minutes lower than because he was injured recently, wasn't he?
That's a good point, and I don't know. I kind of doubt it because in game week 28 it has him against Leicester. Game week 27, Southampton at home 4.2 points. This week it's 3.9. So I'd say roughly. I mean, he might be on 80 rather than 90.
Interesting.
And we know that Gabriel will be on 90.
Gabriel does have the goal threat though, doesn't he?
That's the thing. Colwill's goal threat is very low in general.
Yeah.
And also the main point is Chelsea's defense is just bad at the moment.
Yeah.
Like I don't really care about the underlying numbers. I see mistakes and I'm not trying to sway you here. I'm just saying.
No, you're right. And Sanchez is, a liability. I mean, I think he's caused made about 4 or 5.
It's 5 now, most in the league. 5. With Muric, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you know what? It's kind of fit for that actually. You know what? I'm going to look into that actually. I might end up playing Gabriel because I'm just thinking okay, it's a 5% difference in clean sheet odds, but then Gabriel's goal threat is, quite a bit higher than Colwill's.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another decision. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up actually.
I mean, in theory, Gabriel's goal threat or goal percentage probability, whatever the correct word is, would only have to be 3.5% more than maybe actually 3% if you think about bonus as well above Colwill to warrant playing Gabriel over him because it's 6 points for a goal.
Yeah.
Just to negate the difference in clean sheet. I don't know.
That is a game that can easily finish 0-0.
We've seen it finish 0-0 before.
We have. Yeah, I know. You know what? Yeah, I'm kind of back to the drawing board with that one. So yeah, I mean, I've got a Colwill just now, but that may change now.
Well, what we'll do is we will obviously see what you end up doing with your team on Fantasy Football Hub. When will that be? When do you think you'll submit your final team?
I'll do it tonight, so it should be there tomorrow morning.
Okay, so that's Friday morning. It will be there. Interesting. There we go. So yeah, if you guys do wanna know what Abdul has ended up going with, we're recording this at Thursday about lunchtime, and then it's coming out Friday morning is when you're seeing this. So the article may well be out by the time this video goes live. So yeah, if you want to see what happens with Abdul's transfers and whether he's thinking about starting Gabriel or Colwill, link down below to sign up. As I said, 7-day free trial, 30% off, and you get to take advantage of everything else that I've shown you in this video. I didn't even show this in this video, but I mean, I love this page, Abdul. It's a brand new page, Assistant Manager Points Predictions. I mean, look at that.
Oh yeah,
it's just gorgeous. It just looks great. Not sure where Hertzler's face has gone.
Yeah, I've not actually had a look at that yet.
It's lovely.
I'll check that out as well.
And the main point is that actually the predicted points this week for the assistant managers are pretty low compared to Salah. So if you're just weighing up sort of whether to do it this week or not, obviously the assistant managership is played over 3 game weeks. Triple captain is 1. But the highest predicted points this week is Slot at 13.1 and Salah's at 14.9. Moyes is at 12.3, which suggests there might be better windows to play the chip.
I think it's basically saying the triple captain is probably worth more this week.
Yeah, I think so.
But then you've got to think, obviously, the assistant managers over 3 game weeks, isn't it? That's only for this week.
Yeah, but I think the main point is the assistant manager chip is the most powerful chip
Oh, yeah.
outside of wildcard.
By far.
But yeah, that's
Agree.
so. I mean, you want to really use that on the biggest upside week that you can. Okay, mate. I think that's everything we've covered pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we've all got it covered this week.
Good stuff. Any more comments, guys? This is the last video going live on the channel this week, so get them in the comments down below. I'll be down there as always, and I'll reply to a few of them if they're good. Don't make them like super team specific, like, oh, I've got 17 players and I'm trying to make 34 transfers. Like, can't do that. But more general questions, as always, very, very good. And there are obviously players that we haven't had time to talk about in this video that I'm sure are prevalent in your minds. So yeah, one final time, sign up to Fantasy Football Hub. It's the best time to do it if you haven't already done it. Abdul's a member, and he posts his team there every week. There you go. Thanks, mate, as always. Good luck this game week. Hopefully another big green arrow for you. And yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one.